Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on how to make data-driven decisions using data integration. I am, hold on. I'm Amanda. I'm the Technical Content Marketing Specialist here at SAFE.
And I'm Tiana, Product Marketing Manager.
So in this webinar, we'll be covering a few different areas. So we'll start off with going over what it actually means to be making data-driven decisions, and some examples of how organizations have actually made data-driven decisions. Then we'll talk about what data integration is and the role it plays in guiding you toward making data-driven decisions. And then we'll follow up with showing you how you can do it all yourself. So what does making data-driven decisions actually mean? So it means data-driven decisions making happens when you turn factual insights into actions which produce a desired result. Or in other words, turning data into knowledge, therefore allowing you to take the next best step. And so for the purposes of this webinar, we'll be focusing on exactly that, from taking your data, turning it into knowledge, and then making some kind of action. So in preparing for this webinar, I read this really nice article called Data Science and its Relationship to Big Data and Data-Driven Decision Making. It's listed here at the bottom of the slide if you'd like to read it yourself, which I would highly recommend. So in the paper, they described 3 types of ways organizations can make data-driven decisions, and I'm going to walk you through each of the different methods in these next few slides. So the first type of data-driven decision that you can make is a discovery-led decision. So essentially, this means looking into your data and discovering something that provides you with evidence of some kind of event taking place that you may otherwise not have recognized. So an example of a discovery-led decision is what happened when data scientists looked into Walmart's data during hurricane season. So during hurricane season, when the warnings and alerts were being put out to the community, Walmart would make sure to stock up on emergency supplies like flashlights and water bottles, because intuitively, that's what they thought people would be wanting given the situation. But after they actually looked into the data, they realized that during these times, emergency supplies weren't actually going up in sales. But there was a different product that was going up in sales and seemed to correlate with the hurricane season. And this product was actually strawberry Pop-Tarts, which is definitely not what anyone would have expected. But they happened to go up in sales by about 7 times during hurricane season. So without looking into their data, Walmart would have been left unaware of this correlation and would have continued to stock up on items that they really didn't need to be stocking up on. So discoveries like this can help an organization implement change that will overall help them be more successful. So the second type of decision category are decisions that repeat. So essentially, data is used here to identify a common pattern, and then that pattern is used to make strategic decisions time and time again. So the example of this kind of decision making is from a telecommunications company that's trying to retain customers. So we all know that there are a ton of cell phone companies out there with different deals and options, and most of us have probably been customers of different carriers over time. But for these companies, losing and gaining customers can be very expensive. Trying to get a new customer is much more expensive than retaining the ones you already have, because you usually have to be putting out some kind of promotion or campaign, and that can be very costly. So what one company did was look into their data and identify which of their customers it made sense to try and retain, and they instead would put their efforts towards keeping these customers around using less expensive deals or promotions. So of course, this takes a bit more testing and trial and error, but by adding these kinds of incentives and promotions for pre-existing customers in a strategic way, they're able to spend less money on keeping customers around instead of spending money on getting new customers who they may inevitably lose later on. So in this method, using data to decide how to implement some kind of model like this and to target a specific audience or type of customer is a repeated process that can help an organization flourish. So finally, we have automated decisions, which is probably the most well understood type of data-driven decision because it's something that we all see all the time. So when data is used to automatically, this is when data is used to automatically help us make a decision. So everything from Spotify to Netflix I've been seeing it recently on my phone and in my email being recommended words to use next. All of this is based on data. So of course, automated decision making is never 100% perfect, but it is extremely useful for pointing us in the right direction to help us fulfill our next task. However, the major advantage of using data for automating decisions is the time it can help you save. Using automated processes to identify potential decisions saves you lots of time spent doing manual tasks like organizing or filtering or validating your data, which of course means both time and money can be saved. So what's the barrier to making data-driven decisions? Here are some common data struggles that may be preventing you from taking that next step. So the first is data silos. So data silos are data that's stored in unusable formats. It's only accessible by specific departments, or it needs to be transformed in some kind of way to be used properly. So essentially, you can't get the data you need. The data exists and it's pretty much at your fingertips, but you simply aren't able to make use of it due to how it's being stored. Secondly, there's poor data quality. So from inconsistencies to missing entries, it's a lot of garbage in, garbage out problems, which when you have this kind of problem, you need to validate and fix everything up, which can take quite a long time. Then we have lack of knowledge. So not knowing where or how to look for data, or not knowing the right tools. So not all data can be handled in exactly the same way. So you may have to set time aside simply to learn how to use a new format or a program that deals with the data you have. And then finally, we have lack of technology. So there's a lot of technology out there to choose from, and it would be really expensive to have access to it all. But things become extra difficult when your data and your software are not compatible, which is a common problem with proprietary data formats. So this is where data integration comes in. So data integration is the process of bringing together data from disparate sources in a unified view to create a data set with both valuable and usable information. To get your data prepared and ready for you to use, integration really is the first step. So data integration includes the processes of data conversion, transformation, and validation, all of which will help you make sure that your data is clean and accessible and compatible with the technology that you want to use for further analysis. And really, data integration can be used in all industries. So no matter where you work or what you do, data will always be a part of your process. So whether you're in utilities, in the government, energy, AEC, commercial, telecommunications, or transportation, it'll always be important for you to understand how to make the most out of your data.
Alrighty, so what tools and processes do you need? So we know that we can use data integration workflows to make data-driven decisions. So now I'm going to show you how to do this. At Safe Software, we're the makers of FME, which is a data integration platform that lets you build automated workflows. So you can see the FME authoring environment on the laptop here. FME's job is to connect, transform, and automate. So you'll build your custom workflow like the one on the screen that connects all of the data you have, whether it's databases, GIS, web data, or anything else. And then you'll send it through a series of transformers, which are custom tools that process the data and perform operations on it exactly the way you need it. Then finally, you'll configure your workspace to send your data to your output system of choice. Automating the workflow means you've set it to run without needing to launch it manually. So what kind of data can you connect to? Basically anything. Since Safe Software began in the 90s, we've responded to what types of data people need to work with, and we've worked to add that support to FME. So we started with GIS data, and then we moved to other spatial data types, as well as web data and APIs, business intelligence systems, and then later immersive environments. So let's look again at these three types of data-driven decisions. First, discovery-led decisions. So to make these, you'll need to integrate all of the data that you have and get it into an understandable format. So sometimes this means bringing all of your data into a common database, which makes it easy to analyze and perform operations on it. Sharing the data in a common format is also helpful, like a PDF report, or maybe an Excel spreadsheet, or you can send the data to a web portal that anyone can access. This might also involve collecting all of your data and sending it to business intelligence software like Qlik, Power BI, or Tableau. So this is a real example that you can find online in our customer gallery. The state of Indiana wanted to bring GIS data together into a central repository and online portal. So they built an FME workflow to bring all of this together and make it available for the public to access. Open data portals require a few options for data formats, so it's helpful to have a workflow that can output the same data in different formats. Now, everyone in their team and the public can access all of this data and use it to make their own discoveries. So I want to show you quickly how this works in FME. We'll build a basic workflow to read data from existing sources, transform it, and write it out to a format that we can easily share with the team. So in this example, I have some data from parks around Vancouver, and I want to analyze where to put new water fountains. So let me grab FME. So this is FME Workbench. On the blank canvas here, this is where you build your workspace. So I'll drag in my CSV file. This lists all public water fountains along with their coordinates. Okay, so if I go in the parameters here, we can actually preview the data and see what that looks like. So what I'll do is I'll assign manually these X and Y coordinates. And then I'm going to tell it what coordinate system the data is in. So if I press OK there, we've read in that CSV file. So we can just preview that and have a look. And because I've assigned those X and Y coordinates, FME is automatically going to treat those rows as actual points. So the next data set I want to integrate is my GIS data here. This has boundaries of city parks as polygons. So I'll drag that in. I'll just click OK. So now that we have these two readers in place to bring in the source data, we're ready to use transformers to process the data. So I want to combine their geometries so that I can see where the fountains are located in each park. So if I type overlay, you can see a few transformers here that will overlay geometries. So I want the point on area overlayer. So I'll just add that in. So this will combine those data sets. I'll connect the points, I'll connect the areas. Okay, so there's our source data and the transformer. So next we can output whatever to whatever system we want. We could say output to Qlik. If I type in Qlik here, you can see the writer. That's if we want to open it in business intelligence software for further analysis. In our case, I just want to output a simple PDF report. So I'll add that in. I'll choose my output. Let's just put it on the desktop, output.pdf. And then I'll let it automatically choose the layer definition. So it's going to add in all of those attributes. So we can see when we connect here, both of these. So there's all the output attributes. So there's a nice workspace. We could, if we want, add some pizzazz to the PDF. If you type in PDF, you can see a couple transformers. We can style it. We can add a title, text. We can analyze the points some more. I've also got this page formatter, but we're just going to keep it simple for this demo. So I will click Run, let that workspace go. You can see on the desktop here, it just outputted that PDF. You can open it up and have a look. So it's green on green right now, but there's little points. Hopefully you can see those. It's just got the water fountain points right inside those park polygons. So this means that whoever we send this data to, they don't need to have GIS software installed. They can just open a PDF. Alrighty, let me jump back over to the slides. We have a lot of resources available where you can learn more and download more advanced examples. These are just a few of them. So this webinar has several examples that will show you how to write data to business intelligence software. We've also got this web data and reporting webinar that has examples of writing reports as outputs. So like an HTML report, PDF, Excel, anything that means it's easier for you to share. The Tableau tutorial includes examples like making density maps. You can open the file in Tableau and perform your usual BI tasks. The same goes for other BI software. And then the PDF example uses a series of transformers to generate a more advanced PDF that would be useful for sharing geographic data with anyone. Okay, so the second type of decision is decisions that repeat. So for this, you'll want to set up a workflow that lets you analyze new data on an ongoing basis. This means you'll need to be able to run your analysis again and again without having to rebuild or reconfigure your workflow. So thankfully, you only need to set up your FME workflow once, and then you can run it whenever you need to. Another real example for you in our customer gallery, BC Transit wanted to integrate their databases into one connected system to help them with decision making. So this process involved integrating, validating, and transforming their data sets. And they ended up with a system that helps them gain insight and analytics. So using a repeatable workflow really helped them sustain their transit data sets, and it saved their team time, which meant they could apply their efforts to innovating new solutions. Okay, third, let's look at automated decisions. For this, you'll want to set up an event-based workflow. In other words, your workflow needs to integrate, or the workflow that analyzes and integrates your data can be set up to run in response to a custom event. So you can watch for new data and launch your workflow as needed, or you can run it on a schedule, or you can respond to a custom event, say when an email arrives. So I'll quickly show you again how this looks in FME. We can set up an automation to watch some event, automatically run the workspace that we just built, and then get back useful information. So first we'll go back to Workbench here. We need to publish this workspace to FME server. So I have this FME server instance configured from previously. It's hosted in the cloud. So this is the URL for that there. So I'll just click continue. Then I will upload the workspace along with the source data files. Continue there, and then let's just publish. Okay, so I sent that to my FME server instance, and then I will go over to where it's hosted in the cloud here. So here's my FME server dashboard. What we're gonna do is build an automation. So I'll create a new automation here. And then this is kind of a similar type of workflow environment. So I can set up a trigger, whatever I want that to be. We can watch for a directory being modified, an email is received. We can look at Dropbox, kind of anything you want here. We can watch an Amazon bucket. So let's just say when a directory gets modified, we want to watch there. So we can choose what directory, say we want to watch this one called data. And then we can say, okay, let's watch for if something is created or modified only. So we'll apply that. And then we'll link that to an action. So whenever the directory gets modified, we're going to run a workspace. And you can see there's a lot of options here as well, but we want to run the workspace that we created. So there's the workspace that we just uploaded. And the source data, we can tweak that if we want to link to some values. I'll just leave this as is right now. And then after the workspace runs, we can choose another action. So say we want to send an email or make HTTP request, send a message, we'll just click send an email here. And we can quickly load a template, say to a Gmail account. So you can see how easy it is. Oops, I didn't want to do that. You can see how easy it is to build an automation. When we want to run this, all we have to do is click on the top right there, start automation, and that will begin running and watching for files. So you can create some really powerful customized automations here. All right, turn back to the slides. So a real example of this is McDonald's China needed to integrate their data to power their business decisions, like new restaurant site selection, growth modeling, delivery modeling. So they set up workflows that automatically respond to events and bring data together from different systems. Plus, they perform spatial analysis on that data. So as a result, they're able to gain new insights and improve the efficiency of their services. So by building FME workflows, you're positioned to overcome these common data struggles that we talked about. So to get rid of data silos, you would build a workflow to synchronize your data, whether by keeping all systems up to date or by combining them into a central repository. To avoid poor quality data, you send data through FME's QA transformers. So we have the attribute validator, geometry validator, XML validator. To address a lack of knowledge, you would connect all of your available data sources and automate your workflows to make sure that you never miss a new data set. And if you're facing a lack of technology, convert your data into formats that you can work with, like free and open source software or whatever tools your organization has available.
And so a common trend we've been seeing recently in data integration is integrating spatial data with your other data sets. So no matter what your interests are or what fields you work in, spatial data is always being considered whether you realize it or not. The question of where is quite common and it's relevant in many problems. So if you work in the business sector, spatial data can help you understand your customer base, help you discover insights, manage networks, and provide location information to your customers. If you work directly with citizens and members of the community, spatial data can help you stay informed about what's happening in your surroundings, provide information to those who need it based on their location, and overall help support your community in times of needs. And finally, if you work in the natural environment, spatial data can help you gain insights into the different habitats you're in, share information with volunteers in the field, provide location-specific weather information, and help you track plant and animal communities.
So I'll run through our summary slide. Data-driven decision-making means turning data into insight and taking action based on that insight. Data integration workflows will help you generate insight from the data you have, wherever it is, and build data integration workflows in FME and automate them to generate data-driven insight on an ongoing basis. So we'll do Q&A here in a second. I just wanted to invite you to come see us in a city near you when we go on the FME World Tour in April. We've got a demo in the works where we build an app to help you make a decision based on data we pull from your smart devices, along with a lot of other demos and tips and tricks. So you can see the FME lizard here relaxing at the spa now that he's got his data problems taken care of. We've also got the FME UC coming up as well, so you can come see us in Vancouver. And we have a lot of free resources to help you learn more. We've got free FME training as well if you're interested in setting up your own data integration workflows. So we've got a couple questions here. I can see, can you connect to Google Sheets? Yes, you can. So if you're on the canvas and you just type in Sheets, we've got a Google Sheets reader and a Google Sheets writer, so you can get data from there, publish it back up there as well. Someone also mentioned they have challenges with cleaning and reformatting data. So FME is really good at that. If you're looking at attributes, we've got a lot of transformers working with attributes. The attribute manager will help you do anything you need to reformat those. Data cleaning, we've got a lot of validators. Like I mentioned, so attribute validator, geometry validator, that'll just make sure your data is top quality.
I was just going to add on to that too. For the question about connecting to Google Sheets, if anyone's ever interested in what you can or cannot connect to and you don't want to open up Workbench, you can also just go to safe.com/integrate to find out more about what we support. And same with cleaning and reformatting data. If you're looking for tools that you want to use in your workspace, you can go to safe.com/transformers, and if you filter by categories there, you should be able to narrow down what kind of tools to use.
Yeah. Yeah, someone says there's a lot of tools. How do you know which one to use in a quick way? So this is the cool thing with like the transformer gallery, for example, or the workbench canvas itself, that whatever you need to do, if you start typing keywords on the canvas, suggestions will show up. So here, for example, I'm like, okay, I have points, I have polygons, I want to combine them, I want to overlay them. So I start typing the keyword overlay, and I'm like, oh, look, there's a lot of options for overlaying geometries. So this search function is pretty advanced here as you start typing. You know, validate was another one. Different transformers will show up, and we've got documentation. We've also got a lot of transformers on FME Hub, which is where we, a lot of people in the FME community can also add their custom transformers and connections.
And you can also go to the FME community to look for more tutorials. If you're trying to do something very specific, you might be able to find something on there which helps guide you through creating your own workflow. And if you can't find anything, you can always ask one of us via live chat or in the community for something that you're looking for, and we should be able to help you.
Yeah. Do you have professionals? So we also have a big partner network. So if you want help building an FME workflow, say you've got something really complex to do that's going to need a big workspace, we have a big partner network, and you can reach out to a partner near you and see if they can help you out with that. If you reach out to us on live chat or in the community as well, we've got a lot of experienced users who can help you out. We've got a few other technical questions coming in. For some of the more technical questions, I think we'll get our experts team to follow up specifically and give you help with that. Yeah, column headers, Jason. Yeah, Jason questions, we can get people to help with those specifically. Downloading third-party website. Yeah, you can automate downloading GIS data from websites. We can connect to APIs. We've got the HTTP caller that's really powerful for connecting to any data from the web. So you'll be able to do that for sure. So thank you everyone so much for attending, and we're going to follow up with your questions offline afterwards. And yeah, as always, reach out to us on live chat, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, thank you.